So there's a good chance you've come across apple cider vinegar and its many health benefits. I've seen some minor claims and some suggest it's a cure-all for just about everything that ails us. And so I wanted to make a video to shed some light on what it can do, what it can't do, but also for those things that it does help with, how does it work? What is the ingredient that makes it effective? So here's some of the common claims that it can do. Lowers blood sugar, helps with making you feel full, lowers cholesterol, cancer fighting, detoxes the body, and so on and so on. And for those of you who are old enough, you may recall in the mid 90s there was this product called Jogging in a Jug. Came in these huge bottles, similar to what you find apple cider in, nowadays in the store. But I can recall seeing it in the local Walmart. They always had a big display of jogging in a jug. And that was basically apple cider vinegar. And so this concept of apple cider vinegar is nothing new. It's probably one of those things where you could find it in old Chinese medicine, writings. So, but just like most things, it kind of goes in and out of style. And just recently, it's gained a lot of popularity again. So the truth about apple cider vinegar is it really has no nutritive value whatsoever, has very little minerals or vitamins. And so if that's the case, then what is it about apple cider vinegar that makes it help with some things, right? And that is because of the primary ingredient, which is acetic acid. Acetic acid is the product of the fermentation process. And it has a pH of around 2.5, and you can see there's a pH scale on the right-hand side. pH of 2.5 puts acetic acid sort of between lemon juice and grapefruit juice, and so it's very acidic. It's actually similar to stomach acid, which is hydrochloric acid. Um, and so why acetic acid can benefit us is because some research suggests that most humans, up to 70% of us, are in an alkaline state, meaning that our blood chemistry, our body chemistry, is not in an optimal neutral state. So neutral pH for the body is about 7.46. Okay, so somewhere around this area here. And so if you're too alkaline, it means you're too high on the pH scale. And so if that's the case, then this acetic acid can help move your body towards a more neutral pH level. When it comes to an alkaline body, stress is a huge factor. So the byproduct of your body being stressed out and producing cortisone, that can actually cause your body to become an alkaline state. Processed food diets, so if you're like me and you live in an industrialized country, that's the prevailing diet. And then also high protein diets. So low carb, high protein diets have kind of come into popularity again. The problem is that the byproduct of metabolizing protein is actually increases the pH of our bodies. So the more meat you eat, the more that your body is going to be subjected to this byproduct that can make you more alkaline. And as I stated before, some suggest that up to 70% of humans are too alkaline, and that the vast majority of people in industrialized countries are too alkaline because of our diets and our stress levels. As I suggested before, the optimal pH of our body is 7.46, and some scientists have suggested that it does not take much of a shift whatsoever to see negative health effects. So what I mean by that is the body's optimal 7.46. Some have suggested that even a 7.48, so 2/100ths of a shift in pH level, can have negative effects. So that's why if you are alkaline, making your body or putting your body in a more neutral state can have very positive effects. Conversely, if your body's too acidic, so if you're below the 7.46, you will see negative effects from that as well. And so that's the key to remember here, is that acetic acid is really only gonna help you if you're alkaline. Okay, otherwise if you're neutral, and you drink a ton of apple cider vinegar, then you're gonna actually make yourself worse because you're taking yourself out of that optimal pH level. Here are some of the symptoms of alkaline body: fatigue, irritability, heartburn, hyperglycemia, so it means you have a high blood sugar, hypothyroidism, so if you have a low metabolism, irregular heartbeat, and there's some other digestive system issues. But these are kind of the prevailing symptoms I've seen from an alkaline state of your body. There is actually some respected studies. I saw one out of Japan recently that suggests consuming apple cider vinegar can have some positive effects. I believe one study showed that the group that consumed apple cider vinegar lost 2 more pounds than the control group did. There was also a lowering of blood sugar and some other effects, positive effects as well. But just remember that most of the benefits that come from apple cider vinegar will only be realized if you're in an alkaline state, okay? And so let's say you are alkaline, you consume apple cider vinegar for a few weeks, you make your body more neutral. You're not going to see any increased benefits beyond that. So you get to a neutral state. It's good to keep yourself there, but just realize there's a limitation. And as I stated before, if you're already neutral or if you're in an acidic state already, apple cider vinegar will not help you and could actually make you worse. And of course, despite some of the claims you might see, it is not a cure-all. It's not going to fix everything. So here's my recommended intake method. It doesn't take much. I personally drink maybe 1 tablespoon in a glass of water occasionally, and I try to do it after meals because some research has suggested that apple cider vinegar can actually reduce the glycemic effect of foods. So let's say you eat a really high carbohydrate meal, drinking apple cider vinegar with the meal can actually help reduce that blood sugar spike that you might get. It's an awful tasting concoction, so I would suggest you flavor it with some lemon or ginger. And I would never drink this stuff undiluted. Don't drink it out of the bottle. First of all, it's unbearable, and you'll hate it so much you'll probably never drink it again. But also, it's acid, right? So just like stomach acid. And if you get that acid on your teeth, especially on a repetitive basis, it will actually eat the enamel from your teeth. So that's not good. So it's better to dilute it, drink it, and maybe even kind of rinse your mouth out with some water afterwards, just to make sure you kind of get it off out of your mouth. But so that's the sort of the truth about apple cider vinegar. It can have positive effects on you, but just remember, just like everything, there's some limitations, and don't believe everything you hear.